Alright, welcome back to Starcraft 2. Swan, give us an update.
So we're pirates ourselves these days. Hey, Kaczynski, got any rum? Arr.
Swan's the best character.
Yeah, such a sense of humor.
And you guys wanted our Goliath upgrades, both of them. Gonna spend all our credits.
See ya, bankroll.
And now we're at 0. But these should both come very useful in our next mission.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I must confess I didn't use Goliath very often, so...
And you guys chose the attack speed upgrade. I think they're both decent, just kind of good for different play styles. Ultracapacitors I think are good for like siege tanks, where you can kill things before they attack you. But life is better like if you're going for more biocentric, so you can keep your marines alive better.
Yeah, I think the philosophy is kill stuff before they hit you, rather than stay alive longer while they're hitting you.
Yeah, that's the idea between the attack speed upgrade. And you guys wanted siege tanks, so let's get those.
Sick.
Siege tanks are super cool units and definitely a memorable one from Brood War that they brought over.
I was actually trying to figure out the other day if siege tanks or battle cruisers were more iconic units for Terran, and I actually don't know.
I don't know, I think it's a siege tank.
This place is a morgue. Whatever used to live in these ruins up and died millions of years ago. Before they went missing, the Mobius team reported artifact radiation emanating from that big old hunk of rock over yonder. They brought a big damn laser drill to burn the way in.
Laser drill? That thing's a monster. If the Mobius team had access to that kind of hardware, I need to think about what could have wiped them out.
Reckon we'll find out soon enough, partner.
What the hell is artifact radiation?
Well, apparently it's a radioactive artifact. Come on now. It's,
Fair enough.
zeta waves or something, you know?
Artifact-specific radiation.
Yeah.
The mysteries of this place are forbidden.
Whoa, the zealot paid attention and, like, hit the medic.
Yeah, they do focus on medics.
Hold up there.
It's that AI, so good.
It's got the spare APM actions to just do that.
Settle down, hotshot. They're coming. These babies will knock those cannons down.
Alright, look at these sweet siege tanks. So you can see that when they're in siege mode, they're immobile, but they've got this long-range bombard attack.
Yeah, and they grow 2 legs.
Yeah. But they also can attack in tank mode.
I gotta say, I like the little subtlety they did there. Just in case you forgot from your last Protoss mission, if you kill the pylons, then you can't get shot at.
You know, they default to shooting at the cannons. I was the one who's told them to shoot the pylon.
Sorry, I didn't mean to give undue credit to the designers of this game.
Yeah, I mean, come on now.
Sorry,
Blizzard?
let me change what I said. I really like how the guy who runs this LP decided to give you a quick refresher on killing pylons to depower Protoss buildings. Very clever.
See that? Now it's much better.
Yep.
Mobius space local net accessed. Decrypting security overrides. Transferring control of base structures to you, Commander.
The adjutant is a really good hacker.
Fired up. 174 gigawatts. The power of the sun at your fingertips. Now get it aimed at that door and let's get cutting.
Apparently the adjutant can't get rid of that blue screen of death, though.
Drilling will take some time, but there's no other way into the temple.
This is science fiction, but sometimes facts bleed over into video games.
Yeah, well, you know,
So we set a perimeter
the humans haven't advanced very much.
It's awfully nice of them to paint big green boxes on your screen.
Yeah, it's like here, put siege tanks here.
Maybe a bunker, I guess, if you got to, but...
So, we can see that we got an expansion to take, so we're taking that.
It's a good idea. Expansion's good. More money, fewer problems.
Yeah, money is good.
So, yeah, I guess we have that giant, scary laser beam thingy that's constantly shooting at the little door.
Yep. And it'll take a while, so that's why you got siege tanks this mission.
Makes sense. Siege tanks are pretty good defensive units.
Yeah, so that's basically what this mission is that you sit in your base for 30 minutes and then have tanks kill everything.
Well, surely you have a way to make this more interesting.
Sir, I've managed to access
A little bit, so I will
Expeditions
be
sensor.
trying to
I'll route
show
through
off
your
what
map so
happens
you
when
can
you
see
push
what
into the
tower
Protoss
you are.
base, and it'll be great things.
Fair enough. One of the things about siege tanks that I should probably mention is that siege tanks do bonus damage against armored units.
Not in the campaign.
What?
They do a straight 60 to everything.
That is ridiculous.
Yes, so siege tanks are incredibly good in the campaign.
Oh.
In multiplayer, they've got a weakness in that they don't do that much damage to light units.
They've got a weakness
But,
in that they're not the campaign siege tank.
Yeah, exactly.
Welp, thanks for cutting me off before I sounded like an ass, so now I can amend it to say, if you got used to the tanks in campaign, remember they're not so amazing in multiplayer. Wow.
And then, of course, we can buy some upgrades that make siege tanks even more imbalanced once we get the armory upgrades.
And, you know, the money, since you guys spent all of our stuff on Goliaths.
Yeah, we're gonna need money as well. Siege tanks are expensive to upgrade. A lot of the later units get pretty expensive.
I imagine the upgrades are definitely worth it, though.
Oh yeah, they're pretty crazy upgrades.
Man. So, what's your plan to make this more interesting, or when are you planning to start pushing?
Well, I guess I can't make it interesting for very quickly because there's a lot of getting your economy up on board that you've got to do. But I think that to make this more exciting, I won't go the standard Marine medic that I've been going pretty much every mission so far, and I'll be going completely mechanical. So
Whoa.
focusing mostly on siege tanks and Goliaths.
Gonna do a mech, huh?
Gonna do a mech.
Just why
so
you've-
we got. Yeah.
Is this why when we've played multiplayer, you've meched against me every time?
Hey, that was only like twice.
Well, we've only played like 2 games. Anyway. So, Perdition
try-
Turret's coming out too, huh?
Yep, Perdition Turrets, gotta show those off as well, since we didn't manage to show them off last time. And they're a decent defensive unit. They don't require supply like bunkers do. So we're gonna be building
good.
those.
Oh, look at that timing. That was almost like it was prearranged or something.
Yeah, that was lucky. I mean, that was planned.
Totally pre-planned. You redid this 4 times just to make sure you get the timing down.
Oh yeah.
Man, siege tanks are really good.
Yeah, siege tanks are incredible, so it'll be very important in this mission. Because you don't want to lose things. Oh, they killed my medics.
Well, they do focus medics. I guess
They do
unfortunately,
focus medics.
they don't focus on the 2 siege tanks that are currently hammering them.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, let's see. We're just going to be sitting in our base for a while until we get the proper number of units that we can actually push out.
That makes sense. So, bioforces for Terran don't usually require that much in the way of Vespene gas, right?
Yeah, so your main unit is the Marine. That's your big unit, and the Marauder costs 25 gas and 100 minerals. So they're very mineral-focused units.
Oh, hang on. Are you, Yep, yeah, you are.
Those are Protoss
Well,
Archons.
I guess
Big
Protoss
Protoss
units
men won't
not
stand a chance.
so good against a giant fuck-off laser.
The laser drill. See if you can use
Yeah,
it
I
against
should
the
probably
Protoss.
actually explain that instead of just using it immediately, but now you can control the drill.
We can use it to attack the Protoss.
Okay, so you can use your giant laser beam of doom instead of melting the door. You can instead melt Protoss. I like this change, and I think that you should get a giant laser drill that goes on top of your command center.
Yeah, I think it should be a standard unit that you can build in multiplayer.
Yeah, that would be fair.
Enough minerals.
But I think that's a new unit, the Mortal, that we just saw. Well, we saw die to a laser.
We've seen Archons before? don't
Yes, we've seen Archons
I
before.
know the sentries hallucinated them when we were going through the artifact retrieval mission, but I don't
There was
remember.
one real Archon, I think.
Oh. Almost
But-
counts.
Yeah, that immortal right there, that is the bane of mech. So we're killing those with our lasers as soon as possible.
I was going to say something about what immortals do, but since I've been wrong about everything else I've tried to say about units in StarCraft 2, I think I'm not going to say a word.
Alright, so should I introduce the immortal then?
Probably a good idea.
Alright, so the reason that the immortal is so deadly against our mech units is that their shields, they have hardened shields, which means that any attack on the shields has a maximum damage of 10. So that means that our siege tanks, which normally do 60, only do 10 damage to them.
Whoa, that is a sweet paint job on that little Goliath.
Yeah.
It's got teeth.
Also we got our mercenary Goliath.
Spartan Company, right? Is that...
Spartan Company, yeah.
Yeah, you can tell that Goliath really appeals to my bug sensibilities, since I'm like, yeah, that's a sweet paint job. It's got giant teeth.
Yeah, super cool.
That's
how you know it means business.
Damn it. Here, it's nothing.
Oh, hey, scouts! Watch out, guys, scouts!
Scouts, oh no.
Okay, the warp prism, those could be problematic.
Yeah, Warp Prism, basically a transport of the Protoss.
Except worse, because they're jerks.
Yeah.
So, warp prisms can load and drop units like the medevac can. But, like the medevac, it has
don't have
another
medevacs.
thing it can do. Oh, well, like every other unit in this game, it seems, it has something else it can do. And it can basically turn into a pylon, the shorter range, and then the Protoss can warp units directly on top of it.
So the Protoss have their producing structure, the warp gates, can actually warp in units anywhere that they have power from their pylons. So they appear pretty much immediately.
Sir, I'm picking
And
up the
then
energy
the
signatures
warp
of
prism
several
produces
Protoss
that field,
roads.
so they can warp in units, basically producing units anywhere on the field.
Yeah, it should be mentioned, though, that it's their
Well, if there's
infantry,
a black
basically, that can do that, and not like their air units or their immortals.
Yeah, well, last time we saw them warping into Colossus, so
Oh, right.
I'm not sure the
It's the
AI
campaign,
has
all
those
bets are off.
limitations.
Ugh, God, immortal warp ends would be terrifying.
Alright, so we now know how we get our Protoss research. We got these Zelnaga temples, these Zelnaga places to destroy. Altars? Something like that.
Man, mech does a lot of damage.
Yeah, Mech is super gross.
I feel like there should be more to say, but I really, outside of, holy crap, mech hits really hard, I don't know what else I can say about that.
Well, it's true. Siege tanks are just so important. They're like, at least in multiplayer, they're not as good, so you don't see them literally all the time. But if they were as good as single player, I think they'd be used like in every single game ever.
That makes sense, but I mean, multiplayer units have to have a drawback. And the only drawback that they have here is that they can't shoot up, I guess?
Yeah, and they got the same drawbacks in that they're immobile and shoot slowly.
Yeah, except they kill everything better. So,
Yeah.
that's nice.
I mean, in Brood War, they were pretty much the strong Terran unit you use in every single matchup. Just to wax nostalgic about the Brood War siege tank, is that...
Just in case Yamstein decides to watch the Let's Play, right?
Yeah, exactly. But they were the Terran unit, I would say. They're
Man.
just so strong positionally.
Yeah, actually, I guess the siege tanks that you get in the campaign here are fairly similar to the siege tanks from Brood War.
I'd
Damage-wise
say
and
they
stuff.
might be, yeah. They might be even more powerful due to some of the AI. Actually, if I can talk a little bit about the difference between the AIs, that the siege tanks have much better targeting AI in that they don't overkill, so they shoot immediately and don't waste their shots. So that makes them actually, in some senses, better than they were in Brood War.
Gotcha. Did they do more damage in Brood War? I honestly don't remember.
They did 70 damage.
Okay.
Upgrade complete.
Your SCVs were hugging each other there for a minute.
Yeah. Well, we don't want to lose any of them. They can repair each other.
Hmm.
Those SCVs, one of the few broken units that can be both repaired and healed by
Yeah.
medics. That's super gross.
Mineral
Terran is way too strong, guys.
Alright, we've got a pretty sizable force of siege tanks and Goliaths here, so we're gonna start pushing Protoss base.
You know, I kind of want to see someone in Thread do like the outbreak mission with only with medics and SCVs, just to see how long they can live without actually trying to kill anything.
That sounds really gross and dumb, but also amazing.
Would you say that's more or less like Starcraft 2?
I think that's pretty much how StarCraft 2 should be.
Fair enough. Man, Goliaths can shred through some Colossi.
Yeah, Goliaths do just an incredible amount of damage to air
Holy crap.
units, and they can shoot ground units.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but that was a carrier.
Yep, that was carrier dead.
Mineral field depleted.
Carriers are awesome.
Carriers will get sent out in these air waves,
Base is
so we'll see. Oh, there's another carrier.
Bye, carrier.
Yeah, so yeah, Goliaths are really good.
So, carriers have no attack of their own, but instead build a bunch of little tiny ships that are jerks and can do a lot of damage very quickly. But the carriers themselves are relatively fragile, and when you kill a carrier, you kill all of its interceptors.
I'd say the carrier might be kind of the iconic Protoss unit from Brood War, if you'd want to say the battle cruiser would be.
From Brood War?
Yeah, from Brood War.
I don't know if I'd go carrier or arbiter, but yeah. They're pretty
I think carriers are more.
representative. And carriers are certainly awesome, so
So you can't fault them for that.
no, that's true. Actually, I think the most iconic Protoss unit is Storm. But
That's true. Storm is pretty iconic.
yeah,
It's super gross.
yeah, it's crazy strong.
additional
Although I
supply depots
think
required.
I don't know. Psionic Storm is noticeably different in StarCraft 2 than in Brood War, but it's still really good.
Yeah. A
They-
lot of the difference between these splash damage units, like how tanks were nerfed and
Additional supply
Psystorm
depots
has a
required.
lower radius, is because of the units actually know how to path and can clump up
Additional supply
in
depots
StarCraft 2.
required.
Brood War units were really stupid when it came to getting from point A to point B.
Yeah, Brood War units really stupid. That game.
So the siege tanks are really just, yep, they're murdering everything.
Yep. And you might notice we're making Hellions, because Hellions are great.
They're also, aren't they like the only mech unit you can make that only takes minerals right now?
That's true, but that's not really the reason that I'm making them.
Oh.
I'm making them because they're light units. And for some reason, light units make excellent tanks in this game.
I guess that kind of makes sense, because I think Immortals... Oh, whoa, your barracks took damage flying through the laser, who knew?
No, it was already damaged.
What?
I think. Was it?
I
Wait,
don't
did it
think
take
so.
damage?
I don't...
Mineral field
Whatever.
I don't mind being
I'll
wrong
check
again.
that
It
again.
surely wouldn't be the first time. It makes sense that light units would be good tanks, because if your opponent scouts that you're going for these heavily armed mech units, then they're going to make a bunch of anti-armor units, so...
Yeah, I'll just give an example. The Immortal that we're fighting, they kill Goliaths in 2 shots, kill siege tanks in 3 shots, and kill our Hellions in 4 shots. So,
So what you're telling me is, Hellions are the best unit.
yeah, Hellions are pretty sick. They're super gross.
thermal barrier breached. The laser drill is now cutting through the core.
So something that I don't know if we've really noticed or seen, I don't know if you're going to show it off really, but there are multiple doors that get melted through graphically. You can kind of see it there.
Yeah.
We're on the inner door now, I think? The innermost door?
Yeah. Well, I think the second Second to last door.
Oh, right. I didn't remember if there were 3 or 4. Oh, hey, Storm.
Storm.
We need to...
Unfortunately, siege tank range is longer than storm range, so...
Wait, oh, wow. That's good to know, I guess. Oh, hey, it's 20 minutes. You've been fighting constantly for 10 minutes, and you just now hit the supply cap.
I thought I'd been at the supply cap.
You were really close before, but I don't know if you actually hit it just now.
Oh, well. Yep, now I'm at 200 to 200. Well, close.
As your Hellions were dying, you were replenishing your units, but I don't think you actually hit 200 until it told you couldn't build anything else.
But really, now that we've kind of established this position on the high ground with 1 billion tanks, it's really just a matter of cleaning up the Protoss army and slowly crushing the base.
This is like my ladder games, except I don't play Protoss.
Yeah, just imagine the Protoss is Zerg, and then it'll be your ladder games.
Yeah. And no Goliaths, because why would I have air units? And also there are no Goliaths multiplayer. But
Also Glass, yeah. Unfortunate. Glass would be really cool. Oh, you also notice that since we've killed off a lot of the bases, these air units are only coming from the places that the Protoss has left. So
makes sense.
Killing these bases actually makes it easier to defend. Not like it was hard to defend with siege tanks.
Well, when you have 12 siege tanks just kind of sitting on a hill, yeah, it's a little hard to take that hill. Oh hey, that might be the first time I've actually noticed that it was showing off the multi-targeting system upgrade that we got for Goliaths.
Yeah, they've been using it. It's
right,
been incredibly helpful.
It just wasn't, like, obvious, I don't think. For me, anyway, because I have the situational awareness of a cockroach. So...
Yeah, I mean, paying attention to things is pretty difficult. I mean, that's why you play Zerg.
Pretty much. I mean, don't need situational awareness, just need to make many bugs.
You just need to direct your dudes in the direction of the opponent, and you're good.
Whoa, hang on. Said bugs, not Protoss. Be careful here, please.
Oh, getting a little sensitive now?
A little bit. Just a little. Not much. Just a little bit. Okay, so anyway. Now that we've killed, like, all the Protoss, and the door is going to get torn down, and... Do they even have anything to send at you now? Oh hey, there's a Stargate, so maybe a unit.
Yeah, they'll send a small amount of units. But really...
Something tells me you're not in trouble.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, yeah, siege tanks. If the siege tanks in multiplayer were as good as they are in single player, I would probably never play this game again. Just full disclosure.
It's a little unfortunate that you can't just make only siege tanks in multiplayer. You have to actually make other units.
I mean, on the other hand, if siege tanks were as good in multiplayer as they are in single player, then everyone would agree that Terran was, unfair.
Yeah, and now it's only the Zerg and Protoss who think Terran is unfair.
Right. Exactly. So it's a little more fair in our attribution of unfairness, you see. I like the mech stutter stepping too, that's something I don't see very often.
Yeah, of course, you gotta maximize their damage output.
Well, yes, clearly. Oh, and I liked the laser to kill the last building. That was a nice touch.
Gotta give that laser some credit now.
You have prevailed for now. Word of this sacrilege will echo across the stars, James Raynor. The day of reckoning draws near.
These artifacts of yours seem real popular, Tychus.
What do we care? As long as the pay's good.
Character development.
I'd say get vaporized by the Tal'Darim.
Someone doesn't care about stealing religious artifacts. Like, who are these guys? Why do we care?
Well, to be fair, Raynor didn't care about stealing, he just cared about, getting shot at and killed.
Yeah. As long as he gets money, it's good.
Yeah. This is dramatic.
James Raynor, I bring tidings of doom.
Zeratul.
I have pierced the veil of the future and beheld only oblivion. Yet one spark of hope remains. You will hold her life in your hands. And though justice demands that she die for her crimes, only she can save us.
Wait a second. You're talking about Kerrigan. It's been 4 years. You show up out of nowhere and...
Time is short. You must understand. The answers you seek lie within. Study it well. The fate of creation hangs in the balance.
Nice to see you, too. I've heard of these Ehon crystals before. Supposedly they allow you to relive another person's memories. For Zeratul's uncovered. He was desperate for me to see it, too. Well, here goes nothing.
Alright, here goes nothing. But first, let's talk to Hansen.
Bet she knows some things
I
about
see
stuff.
we have a new acquisition. Is it a Protoss device?
That's right. But I wouldn't mess with it if I were you. It's a Kadaran Ehon crystal. It's a memory storage device. Lets you experience what other people have seen or done. It can be dangerous if you don't know what you're doing.
Yet you don't fear it at all. You're a fascinating man, Jim Raynor. You know more about the Protoss and the Zerg than any of the experts I've read about.
Are you the doctor? Should
Nope.
you know these things?
I guess she doesn't know things about stuff. Well,
It's like science, right? You should
Yeah.
know science.
exactly, like all science.
Holding these artifacts is making me nervous. Can you tell me any more about them?
It's interesting. The one from Zill is different than the others. However, I think all of them once constituted a single device.
You mean they make something bigger?
It would seem so. It's just a theory, but there's an attraction between the artifacts we've collected.
See, now there's that
Kind of
science we're talking
harmonic
about.
resonance.
Can you tell me anything about it?
Translinear I think
It makes a
they
big
join
one.
together like magnets under the right field adjustment.
Okay. Well, don't adjust anything just yet, Doc. I like them aligned just the way they are.
Real authoritative there, Jimmy.
You ain't gonna believe this, but I just saw Zeratul on the ship.
How much did you have to drink tonight, sir?
He was here, Matt.
Horner is fantastic.
On the run from
Well, at
some-
least he knows who
Where's he
he's
now,
working
sir?
for.
That's true.
I don't know. But he ain't on the ship anymore. He gave me an Ehon memory crystal, and he was desperate for me to study it. I guess he wants me to see what he's seen.
Had any visitors lately?
I don't know what you're talking about, Tosh.
Oh, I think you do, James Raynor. Something was on this ship just now. I still smell it on you. Protoss. Interesting.
Whatever you think you know, you just keep it to yourself. I hear you yapping about this, and I'll toss you out the airlock.
A little hostile.
So now we've got 3 of these artifacts on my ship. When are we supposed to hand these damn things over?
They got their hands full right now. The Zerg are about to invade Tirador, where Mobius' main research center is. I don't reckon we'll hear anything from them until they relocate somewhere safe.
Wonderful.
Ah,
Boy, I wonder
what
if
are we gonna
we'll,
do?
I wonder if we'll get involved with that.
This is Donnie Vermillion, live from UNN. Tonight, the Zerg invasion. The battle so far. The Terran Dominion is holding firm under Zerg aggression. Our industrial complex has stepped up production on all fronts. Enlistment rates have risen within the penal system, and the Marine Corps is ready to get in the fight. The Zerg won't know what hit them.
Donnie, has there been any word on when we start pushing the aliens back?
Kate, if I revealed that, I'd be giving away vital Dominion secrets.
You think the Zerg watch our broadcast?
I know they do, Kate. I know they do.
Well, you heard it here first, folks. This is Kate Lockwell for UNN.
What is Kate Lockwell even doing there?
Expressing surprise? Obviously.
Alright, so now we got new mercenary siege breakers, and they're really powerful.
Hang on, does that say 66% extra damage?
66% extra damage, that means their siege tank shots do 100 damage.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's gross. But they're expensive, and we got upgrades, so I'm gonna hold off on that for a little bit.
However did you restrain yourself?
Because there's some other good stuff to see.
Metal now that we got siege tanks.
Yes, sir. The comforting thunder of the big guns. Well, comforting when they're on our side.
Yeah, these newer tanks have better guns when they're on the move. And reinforced armor.
So long as they still got the range in siege mode, the rest is just gravy. Between siege tanks and bunkers, we can hold a line against just about anything.
Well, there's your clinic on how to play an obnoxious Terran.
Siege tanks, so beautiful. And I like that even when you zoom out, the siege tank is still sieged up.
Yeah, it's a really nice touch.
Alright, our siege tank upgrades, they're good.
Jesus Christ.
Adds 40 damage to the primary target. That means that their damage is now 100.
So, what's the splash damage on a siege tank round, you know?
I don't know, it varies by radius.
Oh, okay.
But the Shade Blast, which we can't buy yet, reduces that to our friendly units at least.
Wow. It's like dumping all of your stuff into Goliaths may have stopped us from getting other cool stuff.
Oh well, we can take time. We can take another mission to get some money.
That's true.
We also got some cool SCV stuff here. Advanced construction to make them like
Humans in Warcraft 3.
Yeah, exactly.
Except
you can use a lot of SCVs.
Except it probably doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't change the cost unlike the human construction did in Warcraft.
Right. So make things quick. It's all right, but what's really cool is dual fusion welders, twice as fast repairing.
I think you mean dual wielding welders.
Yes, exactly.
Can repair with both hands. That is obnoxious. That's what that is.
Yeah,
it's nightmare fueled for a bug like myself.
Alright, let's check out our research. We just got a new Protoss research.
Sick.
Orbital depots means our supply depots build instantly.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so it means that you don't have to build supply depots until you are actually supply blocked. Whereas normally you build them 30 seconds beforehand.
That seems okay.
Yeah, it's okay. And microfiltering means you get more gas, which is good, especially if you're making gas-heavy units like siege tanks.
Is that like 6 gas per trip or something?
Yeah, should be. I think so, something like that.
Makes sense.
Or 5 gas a trip.
Oh right.
The hounds of the void are closing in. I impart my memory, my very essence, into this Ihan crystal, so that you will see what I have seen, and that the future may yet have hope.
Alright, now that we've got our Ihan crystal, we've got a whole string of missions here that is Zeratul memory that we gotta do. These are all Protoss missions where we take control of the Protoss.
Well, it's the only thing stronger than Terran.
Yeah, and we won't get any credits, but we will get research for doing all of these missions, and we can do them anytime, basically.
Yeah, it's sort of a weird interlude, because I guess in the timeline of what's happening, it's almost instant when you do a mission.
Yeah. I think we'll be doing those periodically.
That works.
And showing you guys what happens. So for our regular missions, we've still got this great train rivalry, but we also got a new one on Haven.
My people established a new colony on Haven. It was going well, but now the colony's gone dark. They're not responding on any frequency. We need to get there and see what the situation is. They might have been exposed to the Zerg virus, and they are on the verge of Protoss space. Jim, I'm worried that something has gone very wrong.
Research opportunities? Question mark.
Huh, what does that mean? Oh.
Question mark. That's what that means.
Let's find out.
We're almost to Haven, but there's still been no contact from... Sir, there's a Protoss fleet holding in orbit. They're
Maybe it's their
disrupting all
tool.
communications to the surface, and it looks like they're powering up their main weapons.
Probably not Zeratul.
Jim,
Yeah, probably
you have
not.
to stop this.
Matt, open a channel to the Protoss. Let's see how diplomatic they're feeling.
Intaro Tassadar, James Raynor. I am Executor Celendis. Your bravery and service to Ire are known to us.
Intaro Tassadar, Celendis. Listen, with all due respect, your fleet needs to pull back. The people on Haven are no threat to you.
Our observers detected Zerg hive spores infesting the colonists. They must be purified. If you wish to undertake this mission in our stead, we will permit it.
Jim, some
That's
of my
problematic.
people are infested.
It's alright, just
But you
use
can't
UV
let the
rays and you'll
Protoss
find.
just destroy them all. If you keep the Protoss at bay, I know I can find a cure for the infestation.
The only cure for Zerg infestation is purification by fire. You know this to be true, James Raynor.
I can cure them, Jim. Believe me.
If you choose to resist us, we will meet in glorious combat. The choice is yours, James Raynor. We await your answer.
Choice isn't his. The choice is the goons.
Yes, so if we want to do our Haven mission, we got two options now. We can either burn the colonies down, or protect the colonies from the Protoss to allow Dr. Hansen some time to research a cure.
Sophie's choice. Welp.